Interesting
Yeah.
that you mentioned privacy coins, because obviously we've had with Zcash recently that a shielded transaction was traced, and I think people kind of have weird issues with Zcash. Monero is one of those things that some maximalists will go, "Oh, I'm a maximalist, but I'm okay with Monero." Is there a reason you've never allowed for trading of Monero with Coinbase? Because obviously other exchanges do, Kraken does, Binance does. What's the reason, perhaps? Because in some ways, in the world of kind of Bitcoin versus altcoins, that's Monero's the most credible one that you could add to your listing.
Yeah. Well, I would personally like to list it. This is an issue with regulators, right? Where this is us going out and being an educational resource. And I can tell you that where, 6, 7, 8 years ago, we were going out there and telling them about Bitcoin. And they were like, whoa, what is that? Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy. That's scary, And now Bitcoin is like GE stock or something. It's like the most tried and true thing. Oh yeah, we understand that. But privacy coins is the next thing, one of the next things on the horizon amongst many. And they're very up in arms about that, and they're very concerned about it. So we haven't been able to list that, at least in the way that we would like, because of those reasons. But I think with enough time and education, people will get comfortable with it, and there'll be some new, even newer thing on the horizon that they're worried about. But privacy coins will kind of become more mainstream over time, I hope, and maybe privacy solutions on Bitcoin too.
What would the regulatory reason be for not listing Monero when, say, Kraken has? That's what I don't understand. How can they do it
Yeah,
and you can't? Because you're operating in the same jurisdiction.
yeah. So this gets again into inside baseball. So there's often regulators are not going to come out and make an official like law or declaration. Sometimes that'll say this is allowed and this is not. A lot of it is like it's behind the scenes conversations where they're kind of saying like we very much don't think you should do this, and that's then we have the conversation. Well, are you telling us that you don't like it, or are you telling us that you are going to sue us if we do it? And then we have to kind of go do our own legal analysis and say, if they do sue us, do we think we will win or not? And we're not opposed to engaging in some of that. Financial service companies end up in lawsuits with regulators all the time, and it's kind of just part of doing business, but it's expensive, and so it harms the relationship, right? So you
Right.
need to kind of pick your battles. So it's a constant kind of negotiation along with the education that's kind of saying, okay, this one we think is really important. You know what? I know that you're really unhappy with it. We respect that, but we are going to do it anyway because we believe it fits within the law. And here's our legal analysis. Other times we say, we don't know if this is like a hill we want to die on, and we kind of have to make a lot of tough calls like that. This is kind of the art of a lot of what the legal and compliance profession does is they go in there and they have to make risk-based decisions all the time. And I would say that Coinbase probably it depends where you fall in the spectrum, right? Like compared to Fidelity or something like that, we're like way out here. We're taking way more risk. But compared to some of the other exchanges out there that are probably being a bit more aggressive, we have a little bit more of a conservative approach. And the calculus in my mind for that is that I want us to be a company that stands the test of time and doesn't get taken out by some kind of enforcement action or cascade of events or whatever. And so I'm playing for the long term here. I know that this is going to take a long time to get people comfortable with this technology, and I don't want to cut corners in the short term and like certainly put the company or myself at risk.